All right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and today we're going to be looking at my March 2023 TBR. However, for this month, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to tell what's coming in terms of new books, as the main site that I order my books online here in Canada, in indigo.ca, got hacked last month. Thankfully, none of my information was revealed. It doesn't look like they went after customers' information, which is very good, but they ended up taking down the site, and then any pre-orders were postponed. It does look like one of the books that I was supposed to get in February, there was two books that I was supposed to get that I didn't get in the month of February. One of them, it does look like it has shipped, so it looks like they're slowly catching up to some of them. I still don't know what's going to be happening about that second one. And then I have 4 pre-orders for the month of March, which is quite a bit. There's no way that I was going to be reading all of these with everything else that I have here, but I have no idea if they're going to be coming in or not. So we're going to kind of take it as it goes. I'll talk about those books afterwards, but I did take out a stack of books here that will keep me busy if no new books come in. Starting off with Red Rising. So this is the first book in a trilogy, and then he eventually made a sequel to that trilogy. And the 6th book, which would be the 3rd book in the next trilogy, is coming out later on in July, I believe. So I really would like to get into this. I've heard really good things for the sequel. I've only started the first few chapters a while ago, and then I ended up reading new stuff at the time because they were more captivating and they were new at the time, and I wanted to do reviews for them. So unfortunately, this got put on the back burner. But generally at the beginning, that's when I'm most interested, right? That to me, if you don't have a good starting, I'm questioning it, because the beginning is always where I'm like, this is so awesome. This is gonna be a 4. This could be a 4 or 5.5 star, 5-star book. And then usually by the middle they start slowing down, and then if they don't stick the landing at the end, that's when it generally goes down a little bit even more so. But Red Rising just hasn't been captivating me yet. It has all the ingredients for something good. Sci-fi. We're living on Mars. There's a bunch of different classes. You have the lowest class, which is red, and I think he's going to be pretending to be one of the higher classes. So there's a lot of interesting components here. It's just that the beginning hasn't captivated me yet. But I will be diving into it this month. And I was supposed to read this tonight, but I might actually start reading this one right here, which is The Quiet Game by Greg Iles, which is the first novel with Pen Cage. I think that there's 5 books with Pen Cage, and I think there's a 6th one coming out later on this year. And my friend that I read Exiles with earlier in the month, in February, he really recommended him. He really likes this author, so I decided I would start with the first one, see how I like it. And this is Pen Cage is the main character, and he's a Houston prosecutor turned novelist, and he returns back to his hometown where his family is in trouble, and he's trying to figure out what's going on there, and he's revealing a bunch of dark secrets from the town that he had no idea about, and he's trying to get them out of this trouble. Sounds interesting to me, and it just kind of makes me want to read this instead of a sci-fi novel at the beginning. It's also over 600 pages, which is rare, I find, because a lot of the books that I get, you have those cozy mystery thrillers that are like 350 to 450 pages max kind of thing, which are really fun because they go by so quickly. But this one looks like it has a little bit more meat to it, so he can expand that story, which you don't really get with the other books. But there's nothing wrong with the other books either. I do like the shorter ones because you can dive through them, and there's a specific mood for that, but there's also a specific mood for longer ones as well. Next one is War of the Worlds. I'm reading this with Kevin. He started the first chapter, so I'll be able to catch up relatively quickly. Yeah, he's done only the first chapter. But this is under 200 pages. We all know about War of the Worlds. Basically, the aliens attack. There's a big massacre. Humans have no idea how to fight back, by the sounds of it. And this is really old. I would like to see when it was made. But what's crazy is that I remember hearing that when they were doing a narration of this on radio, back when radio was really popular. I don't know if it was in the 20s, 30s, 40s, something like that. It's so weird to think that radio was extremely popular, but nobody had TVs back then. And actually, I'll take that back, because podcasts are becoming extremely popular now, and people are just listening to it, right? You can watch them now as well, but a lot of people just listen to those, and they're extremely fascinating. They're on the rise again, and that's essentially what radio was back in the day. Everybody was listening to it because you didn't have a TV, you didn't really have a lot of other things, and they were narrating the War of the Worlds, and a lot of people were tuning in and thinking that it was actual news and that aliens were actually invading. That must have been a crazy time. Okay, I'm getting 1956. Is that real? Because I'm not seeing another date here. 56. Okay, so maybe in the 50s is when they did that. I thought it was older than that. Apparently not. Next up, Hardy Boys. I started this, and just because for the fun of it, it's, just an extremely small palette cleanser. Like the writing here is absolutely massive. That font is huge, but I have a lot of fun with these, and there's nostalgia, and I kind of want to read, like, I don't know, starting from like 60 and going to maybe 120, because that's the books that my dad was reading back in the day. He read a few of those just sporadically throughout the time, and I really enjoyed them. Next one is The Two Towers. This one I really do hope to get to this month, because I would like to finally finish The Lord of the Rings. I read The Hobbit and Fellowship of the Ring just recently, so I want to dive into Two Towers. This will be my second read of it. I first read it when I was a teen, and then I will finally finish Return of the King, hopefully in the month of April. That would be incredible. I would love to do that. So that's everything that I have at the moment, but it does look like one of the books that it was supposed to come out in February is coming like on its way potentially tomorrow or maybe Thursday, and that is the sequel to Justice of the Kings, Tyranny of Faith. I just recently finished this one, so I will be doing a review of this very soon. I enjoyed it, and I'm very much interested to see where they're going to be going with that story. So hopefully I end up getting that sequel. As at the moment that I get Tyranny of Faith, I think I'll put everything else on hold and read it, because that to me would be, I just really want to see what's going to be going on with that. Now, the other books that I have, there was one of them that I was supposed to get in February called The Writing Retreat. And that was the book that I was also reading with my friend, where we read Exiles, and he was the one that recommended me the Greg Iles book. So that's definitely one that I wanted to read. Basically, in a secluded area, you have a writer, and I think it's there's like it's winter as well. That's going to be a cozy book, I feel. Next one is The Magician's Daughter, which I think was also supposed to come out today. I'm filming this on February 28th. And that was like a younger female character that was kind of in an with her father, who was a magician, and she was learning the ropes of that, and they were secluded from everybody else. And he ends up going on a trip, and he doesn't come back, and so she ends up trying to find out where he went, but she's never really left her home, from what I remember. So that one sounded pretty interesting, but I don't think I would read it with everything else if I end up getting these other books as well and finishing all of these. Then we also have Murder at Haven's Rock, some kind of thriller murder mystery. And I think it's a Canadian author, so I think it does take place in Canada as well. So I definitely want to check that one out. Then we also have Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, which is the Star Wars Jedi series. I still have to play that first game, and I will be playing that like pretty much as soon as I beat Legend of Dragoon, which I'm currently playing. So that Star Wars is next, and then I would read the novel, and then the sequel game comes out. So I don't know if that'll be in the month of March. If it would be near the end. And then there's also Those People Next Door, which is, to me, a cozy murder thriller. I think something happens in the neighborhood. It's one of those kind of books, and I always generally do like those quite a bit. So that's everything. There's no way I'm going to be reading all of that. The ones that I know that I will for sure read would be the Red Rising, the Greg Iles book. If Tyranny of Faith comes in, that'll be read as well. Most likely The Two Towers and Writing Retreat. I don't know about any of the other March books. Those People Next Door, maybe? I don't know. We're going to see. So that's everything that I have planned to read in the month of March. Let me know in the comments below what you plan to read in the month of March. And you have all been bearded in. Beardage.